From Chris's presentation today, honestly, I really took away that I probably have too much on my plate. In juggling as much as I do between home and work and everything, I do probably self-sabotage, as he spoke about, which is something that I certainly don't want to do. And he gave us a really good outline as to how to avoid that. And I really enjoyed that aspect. The way that Chris portrayed everything and the way that he came about was really, really awesome, because of the fact that he did it through story. And people can really relate to that. I saw that, and looking around the room, that he really kept the audience engaged. Whereas some of the other speakers that I've seen, they tend to go off on sort of, on their own sort of thing, and everybody else is looking away and not really paying attention. Whereas today I saw a lot of people writing and taking notes, and I know myself took notes because I'm actually going to utilize them later and put them together, in life.
I really like Chris's style because he's easy to understand, he gets to the point, he doesn't go on and on about any particular subject, and he makes you walk away feeling like you accomplished a lot just by listening. What I learned from the presentation, really what stood out in my mind, was to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, because there's so many times where you just want to hide in your office and not face the uncomfortable situations that can really lead to success, and I have to remember that always. His communication was certainly clear because his usage of jokes was helpful. A lot of the precise details that he gave were very helpful. It was organized, and I thought that I benefited from the speech.
I love Chris's irreverent, off-the-cuff, sometimes candid, but always poignant style when it comes to speaking. Chris communicates his message very clearly. It really resonates with all business professionals who are trying to grow their business. I've always learned from him that it's important to separate doing things that are in the business as opposed to working on the business, and that's something that was a real takeaway today.
From the presentation today, I learned the most important thing to me, which was to kind of void my mind and my life of distractions. Focus really on one task ahead instead of multitasking, get that done, do it well, and then move on to the next. Chris's message is always communicated clearly. He's direct to the point. He uses amazing analogies to drive up the emotion, to drive home the point, and then he relates it to business. So he takes you one place emotionally and then drives it home to kind of make it make sense and practical for business and life. I love Chris's style. I'm a fan. I'm sold. I'm buying the book. I'm getting an autographed copy. I love Chris.
Chris's messages were communicated clearly, precisely, in a fun way, and in a way that I could hear again and again, and it would still have an effect. I love his style. He is very comfortable, he was clear, and he is very down to earth.
I learned two great things from the presentation today. The first thing is setting a vision. And I like the way Chris said, set a 3-year vision, break it down to a 2-year vision, then a 1-year vision, then a 90-day, so that you can keep on track to reach your 3-year goal. The second thing I liked was setting expectations with your employees and managing them to those expectations. That was an excellent point that he made. Chris is an excellent communicator. I really liked his style. He wasn't up there selling what he was doing. He was up there educating us, and he did an awesome job at giving little stories to make each point, which were excellent. I love Chris's style. He's very casual, matter of fact, and he engages the audience very well by incorporating them into his talk, by asking them questions and using them for specific examples. So it was excellent.
Today's presentation was great. It's one thing about myself is I always say I'm a great multitasker, and I've actually learned from Chris that it might not be the best thing to be a complete multitasker, because then you might look over some other things that you have to do in the office and some other goals that you had set for your company. So this was a great way to learn how to set specific goals and how to get to that point too. Just the way Chris talks, he was very fluid, very easy to understand. He spoke with a lot of stories, and these stories were actually very relatable. It was much easier for myself and probably a lot of the other audience members to be able to get a good understanding of what he was trying to get across through those stories. And he made it very personable, which was also very entertaining.